This is episode 94, and today we're talking about family office, creating a legacy. You often hear people talk about create a legacy, leave something to your kids, you are a good person. You often hear this is like the thing, creating a legacy. Well, today I'm going to teach you about one of the features, one of the ways you can create a legacy for your family from a legal perspective. And that is a family office. We need to understand what a family office is. It is very, very critical to understand. It's not necessarily like a business. It has legal structure, but it's a way to manage massive amounts of wealth. And I'm gonna teach you how to create you a family office. You can be literally part-time worker, be entrepreneur. I'm gonna teach you how you can use the law to your advantage, and then with enough hard work, patience, and persistence, you can create you a family office. I'll teach you in this video. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in. Today we're talking about family offices. That's very, very important. This is one of the ways you can pass down money to the next generation. You often hear about the wills and the trust, and it's important you have a will and a trust. I have a whole legal bundle on my website, globallaw.tv / store. I also have a video breaking down entire wills and trust. I have a whole video dedicated to trust, like all the different types of trust you can imagine. globallaw.tv / university. You can watch that video on that. It's a very important video to learn about that. But anyway, we're talking about family office. I've been wanting to do a video on family office for a while, and this is the video because we have to understand what a family office is. It's very important. So, what is a family office? A family office is pretty much a company where a company invests and manages money for wealthy families with the goal to grow that money and then transfer that money to the next generation of family members. So when you hear under 3,000, hey, money for your kids. This is one of the ways to do it. I'm teaching you how to do that. But why is a family office important? One, because, like I said, it grows the money you have, and it keeps growing it. So you pass the next generation, they don't necessarily just spend it all. It'd be in the actual structure that they can benefit from, and then they can keep going forever and ever and ever, in theory. So a family office provides investment advice to family members and family member legal entities. For example, it can be to individuals. It also can be to companies. Say, for example, the family may have an art portfolio. I'm big on art. Have art law videos. Have art law. Like this is a print of the Jean-Michel Basquiat. This is not real, but this is a print. But you can start getting you some art portfolios. Buy from art. You can buy art online and buy art from individuals. And you can pass that down to your kids. You can have a video where you're talking about art law and how you can find different up and coming artists. A lot of some schools are popular for art, and you can buy some of their art and then pass it down to the next generation. But nevertheless, it can be real estate portfolios that they've been managed by the family owns. It can be regular companies and many things such as that. So that family office provide investment advice to the individual family members as well as to the companies that the family owns collectively. And they also have services that take care of for family members. Say, for example, you may have a person with a disability. The family office would provide necessary services for it. You have children, they'll help book travel arrangements. They can book your nanny, your butler, things such as that. This is for like the high wealthy. But I'm gonna teach you some tips to help you go from whatever level you at up until a high level where you can afford a family office, because it can be very expensive because they're actually doing everything. So you have to pay these people to do it. Now you can run your own family office. Individuals run their own family office, but you can also have a company to help you manage your family office. But let's talk about the legal structure of a family office. Typically, a family office is structured as a LLC or C corporation. Those are some of the most popular forms of a family office. You have an LLC. The tax court just passed in 2018. Recently, it passed a law pretty much legitimizing the LLC as a good structure, tax perspective wise, for a family office. The rule they put out was called Lender Management LLC. They put out their memo. That's what they put out, and that's very important. But you're also starting to see the C corporation become more and more of a way to create a family office. Oftentimes you hear individuals talk about the LLC is pretty much is the default for everything. Not quite. You know, it's very popular in America. It's very popular to have an LLC, and I'm gonna do a video coming up about creating a business in London, and later on creating a business in Paris, and they have similar things such as that. But the LLC is not for everything. It's pretty much what you need. You know, for a family office, it might be best for a C corporation. If you're trying to raise money, or you're trying to get put on the stock market, the C corporation is the entity for you. And the C corporation has been growing in popularity primarily because of the new law, the law that was passed in 2017 under President Donald Trump. It's the Jobs and Tax Cut Act. So, and what that pretty much did, it lowered the corporate tax. It lowered it from 35% to 21%. As a 14% drop off. So that became more attractive to family offices because it's important to understand that when you're doing a family office, you want to minimize your deductions. That's important because you have to pay people to run and get advice from lawyers, advice from finance individuals, or investment bankers, and all these different individuals who are providing these services for you for investment wise, for investment purposes. You have to pay them, and one way you do it, you can get deductions for that. Like lawyer fees are tax deductible. You can hire me, and you deduct my fees off on your taxes. So that's one thing you can do. But it's very difficult to do that because the tax cuts, the Jobs and Tax Cut Act eliminated a lot of business deductions. So the LLC became not as popular as it once was. So a lot of people wanted the C corporation now, and with that you can deduct the tax deductions under the tax law code section 162. So we just went over a lot of legal stuff real quick. The different legal structures, the tax law aspects of it. It means things such as that. So let's talk about the pros and cons of the LLC versus the C corporation. The LLC is you get flexibility because it's passed through profits go straight to the owner, and they file their own personal taxes, as well as they give you legal protection. So there's a lot of benefits to that, but you don't necessarily get those tax deductions. C corporation, you can get those tax deductions, but you have to worry about double taxation because the tax law, heavy law right now, but the tax law it allows C corporation get taxed twice. LLC only get taxed once. It's a pass-through taxation. The owners only get taxed. C corporation get taxed twice. They get taxed at the corporate level, and then when they send money to their shareholders in dividends, whatever money they send to their shareholders, that money gets taxed again. So they get taxed at the corporate level every year, as well as they get taxed when they send money to their shareholders. So they get taxed twice. So that's a negative of it. So there's pros and cons. You know, you just depend on which one you want. The C corporation may be the route to go because it's gaining in popularity due to the fact that you can't get those business deductions, and you have to hire someone who has that business sense, who has that business management, investment management, and they can help you balance it so you can minimize the amount of money you actually have to pay. But there are multiple there are two types of family offices. There's the single family office, and there's the multi-family family office. There's a multi-family office and a single family office. So let's talk about the single family office real quick. Single family office is either it could be ran by family members. Say for example, you're a successful entrepreneur, and you tend to have had a bunch of businesses, whatever it may be. So you know how to manage your money. You know how to manage real estate. You know how to manage all that. You may have own real estate. So when it's time for you to get older and get retired, you say, I'm creating a family office. And you run it. You can run it yourself, you know. Or you can have a company running your family office for you. And you'll pay that company. And that company typically, in order for like a really good one to run your family office, they typically want you to have roughly about $100 million. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for you to have. But I'm going to teach you some of the strategies with enough hard work and patience and persistence and perseverance and grit, how you can get to that level. I'm going to teach you that later on in this video. But that's with the single family office. We also have the multifamily office. The multifamily office is typically ran by a company. They provide like legal, investment, all these different types of advices, all these different type of advice to a group of family offices. You know, they're providing advice to what they call, like I said, multifamily offices. It's quite a few of you all, you know, to a group of families, and they typically want each family to have about 20 million. So you go from 100 million down to 20 million to get to that level, to create that legacy. Because we have to create a legacy. That's most important. Legacy. You don't want your kids, you don't want your grandkids starting off the same way you started. If you're rich, you may want your kids starting the same way you started. But a lot of people typically want their kids to do better than them, you know. So, and the main ways you can do that, well, I talk about a lot, you know. Create your will. You have to have strong life insurance. Like maximize it, as much life insurance you can possibly afford. Get that life insurance. So when you pass away, you move on, you transcend. Your kids will be better off than how you started off. That's one way. Another way is a family office. What we're talking about right now. the family office is a good way to do it. What else? So now let's talk about how you create your family office. You can be whatever. You can be. Let's give you an example. One of the tried and tested ways of creating massive amounts of wealth in America is through entrepreneurship, and it's a tried and tested path. You can go from literally relatively nothing, and through entrepreneurship, you can be one of the wealthiest people in the world. You can definitely do that. That has been tried and tested. They call it rags to riches. That exists for a reason. So let's give you an example. It doesn't even matter what you are. You can be a part-time worker at like Wendy's or Checkers or Burger King or McDonald's or something like that. Let's say for example you're like a part-time manager at Wendy's or something like that. You're just a part-time manager at a fast food company. Like, how on God's green earth are you going to go from that to have enough money to create a family office while teaching? Well, ideally, I've worked in fast food. My first job was at Pizza Hut. I worked at Wendy's when I was younger and things such as that. So I understand. Like, you're learning real skills. For example, if you're a manager at a McDonald's, like for example, you know about payroll, you know about like scheduling, you know about ordering inventory, you know about human resources, you know about a lot of things that people really don't give you credit for. They'll never give you credit for this, but you know how you got to count the register, you got to make sure the money's adding up. You have a lot of skills that you really need to be aware of, that skills that you have. So with those skills, you can own your business. Say for example, there's a corner store in your neighborhood. It may be on sale for $100,000. You're like, how am I going to get $100,000 to buy this store, this little corner store in my neighborhood store? Well, one way you can do it is through an SBA loan, Small Business Administration loan, SBA loan. With an SBA loan, typically, last time I checked, is typically only want 10% down and a 650 credit score. So instead of you needing $100,000, now you need $10,000. Get you a good credit score. Get a team. If you get a couple, you all, only one person has had a 650 credit score. I talked to a couple of bankers who told me that. Only one. Every bank is different now, but I heard multiple bankers tell me only one person in the group need to have a 650 credit score. Only one person, So you need $10,000 and a 650 credit score. So get your couple partners. Talk to some family members. You work hard, save your savings, and you say, I just need a couple $1,000s. Can you let me borrow a couple $1,000s? That sounds a whole lot different than saying, let me borrow $100,000. So now you can own your store. Now you may have to leave your city to find this opportunity, but it's out there. So now you own your store, and you own a store, making money, a year or two, buy you another little convenience store, and then another one, and then another one. Then after that, have enough money to buy you a fast food restaurant. Because you have the experience, you can buy you a Checkers, buy you a Wendy's, buy you a Burger King, because you're making the money now. And after a while, you may buy you some houses, buy you some rental property, and then you're in a groove. And after a while, now you have your family office. It's very important, I said it made it sound kind of simple, but it requires a tremendous amount of hard work, tremendous amount of belief, a tremendous amount of conviction. All the virtues, all the intangibles, like you can look at a person, they may be poor, they may be rich, but you don't necessarily know what's between here. You don't necessarily know the type of determination they have, the type of willingness, the work ethic they have, the type of hard work they have, the belief they have in themselves to better themselves. And that's what really anyone, So you can do that as just a single mother who's working a part-time job at McDonald's or Wendy's. You create you a family office. Like this is real things that can happen. If you believe it can happen. Also, you can be working for it. You can be working. You don't have to be an entrepreneur. I just did a whole entire video on how you can make just as much money, if not more, by working for someone than you can be an entrepreneur. I had created a whole entire video. You can check that video out. But same thing, you can be working for someone. And as I mentioned, you can be investing some of your money. Maybe you have a self-directed IRA, or you can have a bonus you get from your company. Your corporation may give you a bonus every year. You can put that money into pre-IPO companies. You're going to hear me talk about this a lot. Because we have to focus on creating wealth, generational wealth. And you can focus on companies, invest into companies before they go on the stock market. And there are companies out there too who help you do that. You can go to Equities In, you can go to Link2, and they have a list of companies that you've heard of. There's many companies that you've heard of that you can invest into. And then once they go on the stock market, you'll make even more money. That's the key to it all. People tend to invest pre-IPO. What they call, you can be quote unquote an angel investor. You're using your own money to invest in these companies before they go on the stock market. And when they go on the stock market, they tend to like go up a lot in value, and you can do that a couple of times, and you can make your money. And then once you make your money, family office. These are some of the things you can do. I mean, you can literally do this. I created the whole video talking about how you can be accredited, how you can be an accredited investor. You can be an accredited investor, and these are some of the things you can do. I mean, it doesn't take a lot. You just got to understand the rules and how to go about it. But you can do this stuff. But that's pretty much all I have. So I guess to recap what we talked about the family office. We talked about the importance of creating a legacy. You do it through a will. You can do it through having a living trust. You can have life insurance. You can also have a family office. We talked about the legal structure of a family office, C corporation, LLC. We talked about many things such as that, and how you can be literally. I mean, it's all about the person. No one knows the willingness, the vigor, the hunger that the person has. You just need some information. Global Law Media is here to give you the information. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You leave me a comment. I hope this has inspired you to become something better, because this is practical advice. This is real advice. It takes a lot of hard work. You don't necessarily want to do it alone. You may want to have a partner or something like that. But these are some things you can do. This is very, very real. And hope you all enjoyed this video. And one step closer to 1,000 episodes. Thanks.